The first kill in The Boys Season 4 comes when the boys sneak into a convention to sneak in poison to kill Victoria Newman. They get caught by her daughter, who has weird monster-like powers, and she kills 2 guards with her tentacles. The next day, Huey goes to the hospital because his father had a stroke, so he will have to step away from work for a while to be with his father. Frenchie, and Kimiko follow some Homelander supporters to Vault, where they meet Homelander, the Deep, A-Train, and Black Noir. Homelander asks the 3 other supes to kill the Homelander supporters with bats. They are very hesitant at first, but Black Noir and the Deep fall into the peer pressure and kill those 3 men, except A-Train, who does nothing but just watch. When Homelander goes to the courthouse to hear the decision of his trial, where the verdict ends with him being found not guilty. After the verdict, a big brawl between the Homelander supporters and the Starlight supporters starts. Then A-Train grabs the 3 dead Homelander supporters. He brings them to the brawl to make it look like they were killed by the Starlight supporters. I gotta say, it's a pretty brilliant plan by Sister Sage. Homelander makes his son do rehearsal for his first save with the Deep and Black Noir, but Ryan seems confused and lost, also uninterested in faking his own save. believes Sister Sage is the one who staged the 3 deaths of the 3 Homelander supporters, so he, French, and Kimiko follow her to conspiracy theory convention. Meanwhile, Huey and Annie follow A-Train to confront him, but they find him having a fight with his brother and decide to just leave him alone because they feel bad for him. When they leave and return back to the office, A-Train is there waiting for them. He gives them security cam footage that proves the 3 Homelander supporters died before their bodies ended up in the brawl outside of the courthouse. He knew they were watching him in the park with his brother, and he is thankful for them not getting in between him and his brother, so he is now helping them out a little bit. It seems like he is regretting all the terrible actions he did in the past and is changing his ways to be a better person, and I love that. I'm all here for the A-Train redemption arc. Let's go. Ryan is performing his first save in real life after all the practice he had, and Homelander shows up to take away his glory and have the attention go to himself. He gives Ryan the order to push the criminal hard, and when Ryan does, the criminal goes flying, splattering his body all over a building. Meanwhile, Frenchie, and Kimiko try to spy on Sister Sage, but they fall into her trap. She has them surrounded and asks Firecracker and Splinter to kill them, but they get distracted and Frenchie, and Kimiko fight back. They fight for a while. They almost die, but Butcher comes to save them, and they fight back and kill Splinter. Frenchie and Kimiko go where the men that kidnapped her in season 1 are located, so she can kill them and save other kids. Kimiko fights and kills 9 men all by herself, while Frenchie is high and starts tripping out. When Homelander and Sister Sage question Anika, who is one of the workers in the crime analytics department, they try to find out if she leaked the security cam footage of the Homelander supporters' deaths. But she doesn't give them any information, and Homelander just straight up kills her. and Huey go to Vault Ice Show rehearsal to spy on Homelander and Victoria Newman having a meeting. Huey hides in an air vent and gets caught by Homelander. He tries to laser Huey, but Huey narrowly escapes. As he's running and Homelander is shooting his lasers at him, he accidentally lasers and kills one of the ice skaters. Then all the other skaters start running in a panic, and multiple other skaters die by accident. Like this guy who accidentally got stabbed in the stomach with an ice skate, and this other guy accidentally gets his neck sliced with an ice skate. A-Train helps Huey escape. A couple days later, Homelander shows up to the lab where he grew up and meets with the people that raised him and did experiments on him. He comes all happy and brings him a cake. What could ever go wrong, right? He toys with Frank, who used to burn him in an oven to see if he would burn. Homelander makes Frank go into the oven, then Frank apologizes to Homelander for torturing him when he was a kid, but Homelander still puts him in there and then just straight up burns him. Huey and Kimiko meet with A-Train, and Huey asks A-Train for a Compound V because he wants to use it to heal his dad. After A-Train leaves, Huey and Kimiko get shot at by more members of the men that Kimiko killed. Huey gets injured and they hide out to tend to his injury. When Huey is all healed up and they get weapons, they attack and kill multiple men. Kimiko throws scissors at a guy's eye and slices a guy's neck when Huey is fighting this other guy that almost kills him, but he manages to outsmart him and kill him. Then he and Kimiko escape. Meanwhile, Homelander tortures Martin and makes him play with himself so everyone can and laugh at him. Homelander then lasers him and kills him. While Firecracker's doing a live expose show on Starlight, she exposes that Starlight had an abortion. Annie gets furious and attacks Firecracker. Meanwhile, Frenchie sneaks into Firecracker's trailer to find some dirt on her, but he gets caught by Ezekiel, the stretchy guy. He almost kills Frenchie, but Butcher comes to save him and he kills Ezekiel, but he doesn't know how he killed him because he blacked out. After Annie comes to her senses and realizes that she is being recorded, she stops and leaves. When Huey meets with A-Train, A-Train gives him a dose of Compound V, but Huey is reluctant to use it on his father after visiting the hospital. However, his father is given an injection of it by his mother, which aids in his recovery. Homelander kills the rest of the members in the lab except one. Butcher discovers a virus that can kill all soups, so in order to find where it is, they need to release Stan Edgar out of prison because he knows where Victoria Newman has hidden it. They release him and go to a house in the country. Inside the house, they find a torn apart lab filled with animals. Butcher releases one of the bunnies that is being tested on. That's a very sweet, wholesome moment. That's why he's my favorite character. Victoria Newman catches them and threatens them if they don't tell her where her husband Samir is. But they don't know where he is, so they go out to the barn to find him. When they enter the barn, they find a lab assistant dead with eggs in his stomach. Then a security guard dies when a chicken jumps through his torso. That's right, we got super chickens. Why am I not surprised? They barely manage to escape the barn filled with super chicks. After they escape, they just start wandering around the area looking for Samir. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Huey's father is missing. They go out looking for him and they find him in another room with a dead body on the floor that he killed. He looks confused and scared and doesn't know how he killed that man, so he runs away through a wall, then runs into a guy's body, killing him. Afterwards, he ends up in the hallway. Huey tries to calm him down, but his father doesn't know that is his son. A security officer tries to detain Huey's father, but his father kills him. Huey and his mother run away in fear, while the boys are resting in the fields multiple super sheep, and they kill one of Newman's guards. The rest run into a barn to hide. When they're inside of the barn, they find Samir hiding there and find his lab assistant who died from the super animals. Samir also has the last remains of the virus. They decide to inject it into the dead assistant and feed him to the sheep so the sheep can die and they can escape to safety. They leave the barn, but when the sheep die, they can't find Samir. All they find is his leg that was cut off. Stan Edgar gets taken away to go back to prison, and on the way, the driver of the vehicle gets his head exploded by Newman. She comes and helps Stan escape. Homelander brings in Cameron Coleman because he believes he is the one who leaked the security footage, but we all know he was framed. So he makes all the members of the Seven gang up on him and kill him. That's a pretty brutal way to die. Being killed by multiple soups at once? Yeah, that's pretty brutal, but I wish they would have showed it. When Huey finally calms his father down, they decide the only way to help him from not killing anymore is to have him die peacefully. Butcher heads to the barn where we see he's the one that captured Samir and cut off his leg. The reason he captured him is because he wants him to make him another dose of the virus. Meanwhile, MM gets intel from A-Train that Homelander will be going to a party filled with multiple politicians. The party will be hosted by Tech Knight, so the boys will be sneaking in so they can spy on what Homelander is doing. They also want to capture Tech Knight so they can interrogate him with questions as to what Homelander and Sage are planning. They sedate a Soup who is on the party list and have Huey wear his costume and attend the party. When he's in the party, Tech Knight gives him a tour of the house. He then takes him down to a lair underground, which turns out to be an erotic dungeon. Not surprised, MM and the rest aren't able to hear Huey because he's out of range for his mic to work. So they decide to sneak in themselves to see if Huey is okay. MM and Kimiko get caught by Sage while looking for the entrance to the dungeon. MM shoots her in the head. Afterwards, MM passes out and Kimiko grabs A-Train and asks him to take MM to the hospital. He's hesitant at first because it's too risky, but he eventually does it. When Kimiko and Annie enter the dungeon, they save Huey from almost being killed by Tech Knight. They torture and make Tech Knight tell them what Sage and Homelander have planned. He tells them that Homelander wants to use his prisons as internment camp, and his butler kills him right after because he has grown tired of cleaning up after his whiny ass. Huey and the rest escape. Days later, A-Train spies on Sage and takes pictures of her talking to another soup. He sends the pictures to MM. MM thinks of a plan to talk to the mysterious man and find out what Sage and him talked about. They enter the apartment and find a woman who looks like she's in need of help, but then she attacks them and turns out it's a shapeshifter and can turn into anyone they want. They manage to escape from the boys. Meanwhile, Firecracker catches Webweaver because she thinks he is the leak, so Homelander kills him in a very brutal way. I don't know if you two will let me show this, but it's such an amazing brutal kill. I'm gonna have to blur some stuff out. Homelander then sends the Deep and Black Noir to kill Butcher, and when they catch them by surprise in their office, they attack Butcher and Annie. But A-Train comes to save Butcher and Annie, so does MM. He grabs a minigun to shoot Black Noir. Both Black Noir and the Deep get beaten down, and the boys manage to escape before they can get back up. Meanwhile, Frenchie and Samir work together to try and make the virus again. But when the virus is finished, Samir injects it into Kamiko's leg. Then he escapes and Frenchie rapidly chops off her leg so the virus won't spread. The boys come up with a plan to extract the virus from Kamiko's leg and use it to at least be able to kill Newman. Later in the night, Annie and Huey are sleeping when Annie gets out of bed and grabs a laptop. We then see her eyes flicker and discover she is the shapeshifter, and the real Annie is chained up in an abandoned building. Firecracker does an interview with Homelander and Victoria Newman on her show. Then during the interview, Homelander exposes Newman as a soup. Later in the day, Homelander gives Noir, the Deep, and Firecracker orders to kill all the people on this list who have damning evidence on Homelander. When the whole country discovers that Newman is a soup, the president goes underground in a bunker to be safe, alongside the boys who are there to protect, because MM believes the shapeshifter is in the bunker, so they need to stay alert. Shortly after, Huey discovers Annie is the shapeshifter and he tells MM, so they try to stay calm, but the shapeshifter knows that they know, so it starts attacking them and kills a guard by throwing him against a table where his back bends in a scary way. It then kills another guard with a golf club. Another guard starts shooting at it, but the bullets don't do anything, so why the hell does she keep shooting? Just run the hell away. Then the shapeshifter throws her and her head gets bashed into a coat hanger. As the president leaves the bunker to head to somewhere safe, the shapeshifter chases them and kills another guard by biting off his neck. As it's about to get to the president, Annie comes out of nowhere and kills the shapeshifter by choking her out. Meanwhile, Homelander and Newman argue because the president is still alive, and Newman becomes scared of Homelander because of how he will control her when she becomes president. So she calls Huey and asks for his help so he can keep her and her daughter safe and far away from Homelander. Meanwhile, Firecracker, the Deep, and Black Noir start killing people on the list for Homelander. She then shoots a guy because she's too tired to run. The Deep shoves his fist through a guy's head, and Black Noir stabs a girl who he mistakes for the other Ashley. The boys come up with a plan just in case Newman turns on them. Their plan is to shoot her with the virus that Frenchie made if she starts to act suspicious. Meanwhile, Ryan visits Butcher, who is sick, where Butcher asks Ryan to leave with Grace so she can train him to kill Homelander one day, but Ryan refuses to be trained and used like a weapon. He tries to leave, but Grace won't let him. She tries to persuade him to stay, so he pushes Grace and she hits a wall where her neck breaks and she dies. Later, Newman meets with the boys and they talk about a deal where she gets her and her daughter in a safe place far away from Homelander, and she will also help them kill Homelander. But then Butcher comes and things go insanely crazy when huge tentacles come out of him and he kills Newman in a really cool, brutal way. A very shocking kill. I still don't believe she's dead. I still don't. That's how surprised I was. He then takes away the virus from Frenchie and just leaves. Shortly after, the whole country finds out that Newman has died, and a leaked video of the president saying he ordered to get Newman killed gets him arrested. The next president in line brings Homelander to join his team, where the president declares martial law and makes hundreds of soups across the whole country deputies, where they will report to Homelander. The first order of Homelander is to catch the boys as they go their separate ways and try to flee the country, but they get captured by multiple soups in a super intense, crazy finale that literally shocked me and gave me goosebumps, especially when Kamiko spoke for the very first time, and when Annie finally got her powers back and had to escape and leave Huey alone. This whole episode was the craziest shit I've ever seen. My heart kept going in circles all throughout the whole episode. Okay, so we had 55 kills in The Boys season 4, 43 males, 11 females, and 1 unknown gender, the shapeshifter. And Homelander had 12 kills on his own. The golden hammer for the best kill was probably the hardest one I ever had to choose, so it will have to be a tie between Homelander ripping apart Webweaver with his bare hands and Butcher tearing apart Newman in half. Those two kills were so good. Homelander killing a guy by tearing his body apart like he's opening a bag of chips, when he usually uses his laser eyes or just punches someone. So it's nice to see him use his bare hands to kill in a very unique way. As for Victoria Newman, that kill caught me so off guard. It shocked me so much and I couldn't believe it, and it was a pretty cool kill. So the combination of shock and cool is what makes it golden hammer worthy. And the silver pistol for the worst kill goes to the lab assistant of Samir, who got killed off screen by animals and was then used as bait. Comment down your thoughts on the show and the finale. I can't believe we gotta wait at least 2 years for the final season. I can't wait that long. I worked really hard on this video. Sorry it took so long. It was very stressful to make. I might need to look for someone to help me make these videos because it's hard to make them on my own. So if you want to help, I'll pay you a little bit, and as the channel grows larger, you'll get paid more. So comment that you're interested. If you're interested, please like and subscribe to Movie Gods to be a movie god. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.